What's up, guys? So today we're gonna be doing the brakes, my rotors and my pads, because they are gone. Look at that. Damn. Of course, you got the new slotted hardware, your pads. I heard a lot of good things about R1 concept, but I would say that customer support wasn't great. But anyways, that, and then you're gonna need something to be able to smack these out right here. Recommend, to me it's like a recommend for sure, thread locker. You'll see why. And then some type of cable to hold your caliper up so it's not hanging and it doesn't break or mess with your brake lines. And a torque wrench. You need a torque wrench for sure. Now the reason why I tell you guys about these thread lockers, right, is I've never taken off my brakes or anything like that, but look at this. This is loose. Even though the caliper and the brakes hold the rotor, right, but like there's no reason for these to come loose. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of thread locker and put them back. So yeah, and also I recommend to have your car up in jack stands so you can have more wiggle room, because if you don't, the good thing about having it jack stands for the front is you can rotate this side to side while the car being off. What I mean is, like, give me one sec. So you can do this and work here and get more leverage to take these off, you know what I'm saying? And then when you're on the other side, you can do the same thing. Just turn it and work like that. Does that make sense? But yeah, let's go. Let's get this started. So I'm gonna move these back a sec. You're gonna rotate it this way. All right, and then you're gonna loosen these two bolts right here. Where is it? Here, those two right here, and here, those two bolts right there. And that's it. And that should take the caliper off. But we're gonna remove the pads first. All right, we're gonna get the pads off and then get the caliper off. Let's go. All right, so what we're doing here is we're getting the pads off first. All right. There you go. If you got hardware, you won't be needing any of these. So now before you take those off, all right, you need to try to get fit something in between the calipers, like a small screwdriver. If you're replacing everything, it's fine, because you need to push the piston back in place. So use the old pads themselves to push the piston back in. Now if you see here, you see how I already pushed the front one. There's already a gap right here between the rotor and the pad. Let me see. Right here there's already a gap, but notice how over here there isn't a gap and the piston's still out, right? So all you have to do is put a small screwdriver in between. Right here, you see how the piston's out, and then just bam, goes back in. Same way over here. All right. Close. Now that pad's loose. Now you're gonna do the same thing to the other one. All right. Now the reason why I was telling you guys, now that the pads are loose and all that stuff, notice how my rotor, you see how this was loose? Look at that. So this can also cause vibration at high speeds. So gotta be very careful with. I have no idea why these came loose by themselves, but I guess they did, and I've never touched this before. So I always like to put a little bit of thread locker so the vibrations doesn't make these come loose. But these shoes come off like that. This one off. There you go. They're both off. And now we're gonna remove the 2 bolts back here that we said, and they should come off. All right, now the reason why I like to recommend a torque wrench is because you can get more leverage and it's a lot easier for you to work. So I'm gonna loosen it. Right. That was that one. Now do the other one. And the same thing, you take both off and the caliper should come off. Alright, so the reason why I asked you guys to get like some kind of cable or something to hold the caliper up is so that the brake line, so the caliper doesn't hold from the brake line, because the caliper is pretty heavy and you don't want that brake line tearing or having any issues later in the future, and it's going to turn into a 30-minute job to like a 2-hour job, a 3-hour job. So that we got that out. Now we're gonna take this that are already loose for you, since the dealership decided to, you know, loosen them for you or something. And the rotor should come right out. And this is with 30,000 miles. So my brakes lasted 30,000 miles, technically. So bam. There's the old one. There's the old one. There's a new one. Alright, let's get this on. Now make sure to align these right here to the other screws right here where they're gonna put. Alright. Put the screws back on. Now, I am going to add a little bit of thread lock in those little, just a little tiny bit on these so they don't come loose again. I don't want them still shaking at the end. Okay, so now the way you want to do this here is just put a tad bit on this right here. Not a lot, this is just the one that holds the rotor, but one small little thing right there will help. All right, I might just put it back in here. It's supposed to be hand tight. No. Oh. All right, there's that. And now we are going to do the same thing to the ones that hold the calipers back here. But I'm putting a little more on these because these are the ones that hold the caliper. And now, like I said, all the vibration of all the braking and everything tends to bring these loose. So you don't want your caliper floating or falling off while you're going fast or whatever, you know. So put it the same way as with the thread locker on this one. Put the caliper back on and then we'll hit the brakes. Like I said, guys, nothing crazy, just make sure it's all the way around. It'll spread once you get it in there. Same here, you see? And now let's get those on. All right, now we're gonna set the torque wrench to, give this side to adjust anytime soon. There it is, 90 foot-pounds. All right, you see that? 0 and the line right there on the 90 is we're gonna set it at 90 foot-pounds of torque. And let's torque these bad boys. Now, get in here. Nice little 3-bang. And then let's hit the other one. Go. Now they're torqued. You gonna put those calipers in. I mean the pads in. Now another thing you guys are gonna want to get is this brake lubricant, right? Because you see this, you want to put it on here, on these little circles. Just get like a. So basically, whenever where you see these circles here, you're gonna put them here. So it just prevents like squeaking and all that when the caliper compresses on the brakes. So we're gonna put some in here. And then just make little circles here. Same on the other side. And throw those bad boys in there. Now we're putting the brackets back on, right? You want to put these two in. All right, just hold that there. Measure that right here. All right, and don't push it all the way in yet. Just make sure you push this one here. Put a little bit of pressure on that one. All right, now don't smack your caliper. There you go. Just make sure you push them all the way in. I'm just gonna get in the way of the camera, so I'm gonna pause the video here and then finish smacking these in. All right, there you have it. This is how it's supposed to look. Make sure you got the securing pins. These are floating brake pads, so make sure you got those pins in between the braces right here, pushing the pads in. Same here. And make sure you see that the whole little point is out to the little line right there, all the way in, all the way in back here too. Make sure you torqued both of those bottom and you got those tight, and that's it. Time to put the wheel back in and see how it looks. Go for some brake testing.